Hi guys, my name is Olumide Emeralds and I'm so sure that you would want to know what I want to talk about today. Today we're talking about 5 very important tools to use for on-page optimization. What are those 5 important tools to use? You want to ask me. Here they are. Okay, here it is. 5 very important tools to use to enhance on-page optimization. What is on-page optimization? You want to find out first before go details into some of those tools that I believe are quite very important. On-page optimizations are measures taken to ensure that a website or a web page search results is improved upon when you do organic search. Take for example, I type male demon in Google search. It comes up. It pops up in the search, possibly on the first page. A couple of information pops up. Whatever pops up within those first few pages, particularly the first 3 pages, are quite optimized pages or websites. So you want to take a closer look at all of that. Okay, now Google has a way of indexing your site. Google has a way of crawling information on your website, and by the time it's done crawling all of this information on your website, it hits your ranking. So what does that mean? Google has a couple of tools, which this particular tutorial, this particular course will not afford us the time to do all of that. Google has a couple of tools that connects to your own website. There are a whole lot of them, from site mapping to schemas to Google Analysis, Search Console, Webmaster Tools. All of that, hit your website. It connects to Google, and so when organic searches are being done, it activates or it helps whatsoever you're doing on your website or on your web pages. Now, another very important one that determines, or that is a strong determining factor for an optimization for an optimized web page or website, is the load time. Does the load time of your website is the load time of your website fast or high? If it's pretty high, trust me, Google will take that very seriously. And then why? Because Google is not interested in sites that crash, sites that never loads. It doesn't give their users or their customers, their clients, the best advantage. Nobody wants to waste time these days. Another one, which is very, very important, is properly configured SEOs. If you do not have your SEOs well configured, by setting plugins or setting tools, what do I mean by your SEOs well configured? Now, I'm referring to readability, I'm referring to meta descriptions, and I'm referring to keywords, right keywords, being used on your website. So if you don't have this properly put in place, would want to do that. And in you doing that, it requires some technicality. No, you do not know how to do all of that, then trust me, you don't want to get started. For me, I have 5 very important tools when I am enhancing a page on a website. 5 very important tools. You must also understand this. There are a whole lot of ways to enhance your web page or your website. There are lots of ways. There are lots of checks. Are the pages optimized? Are the pictures too large? There are stuffs to use to check. There are tools to use to check all of that. But we're not going into all of that today. I am going into 5 very important tools for me that I consider very useful when you want to optimize your page on Google. And for me, the first of those tools is the Yoast SEO. The Yoast SEO plugin for me is for me is the first of them all. If you want to do on-page optimization and you don't have the Yoast SEO installed, then you may just want to install them. There are 2 versions, and if you look at on this side of my screen, I have there's a premium here. There's a premium version here. There is the free version. So if you want, depending on how much money you have, you can decide to go for which one suits you best. Now this is an amazing tool. Here you have your general, you can configure. I'm not going into all of that right now. Here is what I was referring to earlier: readability, keyword analysis, okay, advanced setting pages. These are tools you need. These are basically stuff that can help Google to gather information around my website. Webmaster Tools, I mentioned this is a code you don't want to joke with. This helps Google to connect with your website, and then you can notice there is this Google Search Console, there is Bing, and then there is Yandex. Okay, so whichever one you prefer to use, you can use Bing as well, so that you can equally rank high in Bing. So you do all of that should you need that. There is a security aspect of it out as well. So this is an amazing tool, and trust me, you really want to take advantage of this particular tool because it does a lot of magic for you. Okay, okay, now let's go to the second tool for me. The second tool for me is the WP Optimizer. Oops, okay, now the internet just sucks. So okay, and this is a case of the internet right now. Oops, it's not loading. Good, great. This is it. Where are you? Okay, now this is it, the WP Optimizer. Now the WP Optimizer helps you, okay, to clear files that are not needed by your website. Sometimes as you use your website repeatedly, you will notice that certain files are storing up there, broken files, broken information is up there in your file. Take for example, I have here tables will be optimized. There are 46 files that are not needed already. If I click on optimize right now, look at this again. I have 3 expired transients in your database. I actually don't need them, but this you could be a bit very careful in clearing occasionally, because now remove pingbacks, okay, because sometimes you may really want to be sure of what you're doing here, but I'm not going into all of that right now. So this is this particular tool, WP Optimizer. Trust me, it does magic for your site. It increases the speed of your website internally at your back end, and as well as your front end. The next plugin for me is the P3. Okay, this internet is really terrible right now. So the next plugin, like I mentioned, is the P3. This is it, the Plugin Performance Profiler. What does the Plugin Performance Profiler does? It helps you to search through your website, okay, this back end, which plugin occupies a lot of space, particularly for those of us who do a lot of back end work. Sometimes you'll be struggling with this coming up, and then you're wondering, why is this not coming up? Why is this not coming up? So what do you do at such states? You go to the back end, and then you want to really know what's happening, which plugin is taking so much space, which plugin is loading like forever, which plugin has vulnerability issues. Those are some of the things this particular plugin does for you, but particularly or primarily, this is it. Contact form here is taking a lot of space. It's a very big plugin, and we want to reduce its operationality or its functionality within the website. This is the P3 itself, okay. Now responsive soon coming page, this is it. It's taking a lot of space. I want to take it out as well. I have 16 plugins active, and for God's sake, what are you doing with 16 plugins active? Okay, so I'll take some of them out in a few days. Okay, so basically that's what this plugin is about. It just gives me a thorough analysis of my plugin. It helps me to be sure or to identify which plugin takes a lot of space, and then know which one I need to reduce, take out, find alternative to if I must use it. Okay. Now the next one I want to talk about is the WP Cache, the WordPress Cache plugin. That's the next one I want to talk about here. Now, what's the WP Cache? First of all, what's a cache? Caches are files, okay? The file data on, let me just take us there so that you would be on the same page. This is it. This is what I'm referring to. Okay, the files of data on your local drive, basically, and then when they're downloaded temporarily and stored on your file. Usually on your disk. Usually what they do is that they hide the speed of retrieval time. Take for example, you type in, you're trying to log into Yahoo, for example, and then you just type in your name, OJK, and then the remaining alphabet pops up. Those are cache. That's what cache does for you. It suggests, auto suggests, okay, that particular thing, so that whatsoever you want to do on that thing comes up very quickly. So, but more times than often, these are files already on the database. It slows down your database. So if it's slowing down your database, then it's going to affect the speed, because it's taking more space, it's taking memories, okay, or memory from your system. It's going to affect the speed. And if it's going to affect the speed, trust me, Google has a way of making it such that at the end of the day, sites that don't have that are not fully optimized in terms of speed don't get to hit it up there. So you just want to clear them more times than often, basically. For me, the last one here is the WP robots. This is it. WP robots. What are WP robots? I call them virtual robots. They're actually virtual robots, okay? Now, what are virtual robots? These are robots execution protocols, REPs, or robots.txt, as some prefer to call it, or as it is often preferred to be called, okay? What do they do? It's a text file, okay? These are text files. That's why it's .txt anyways. It's a TXT file that webmasters create, to instruct search engine robots to crawl and index pages on your website. That's what it does. So if you have this installed on your website, usually you can do this from your back end. Okay, I didn't activate it here. It's not okay. It's even activated here. Okay, take a look at it. It's already installed and activated here. So this is my virtual robots. Let's see if it comes up. Hopefully this is fantastic. You see this file, one of the Google tools, particularly webmasters, it's somewhere in there to help search engine robots, particularly Google search engine robots, okay, to crawl information on your website. There are so many ways. There are quite a number of things you need to do with Google. So if you do not have, Google Mail or Gmail, then you may need to get one as soon as you can, because they do have a lot of tools with respect to search engine, organic search, and inorganic search. We're more concerned with organic searches, okay, which would help you a whole lot, in ensuring that at the end of the day your website is seen, your website is reached. What's the use of a website when you ask Google questions about any information and your website is not one of those that pops up even within your locality? There are tools that you can equally use, to stream search, okay, down to your locality. Now there is one very important one which you can use to inform Google what you want Google to pick from your website. This time around, Google will not need struggling. Okay, is that a man? Is that a woman? No. This time around, what you just do, you just need to set up that tool, and Google knows immediately because you've told Google that this is a man, and so Google picks that particular information. If if you live in Nigeria, for example, Google already knows that you live in Nigeria. If you live in the UK, from your website, you can tell Google, I live in the UK. And that's it. And trust me, Google just picks it up. Even your pictures, your images on your websites, all of those need to be optimized, for Google search. Sometimes you click on, you go to Google search, and then you use images, you search for images, and you wonder how those images come there. Those are aspects of optimization, image optimization for on-page optimization for your websites or your web pages. I hope this has helped us. Okay, I would encourage one way or the other that you show some love, click like, share. We'll be grateful. It helps us to continue many a time. Okay, thank you so much. Hope to see you again on Monday. Bye.